Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, as I mentioned last episode, I don't know quite when to put these in, so I start the first one here and we'll see. And since my paladin is already 80, let's start with a tank thingy bob. The tall, dark strangers regarding you with a mixture of curiosity and approval. Can't say I've chatted with you before. Think I'd remember her head. Seen your fair share of fighting, have you? And very besides, Rest assured I have no secret designs. Name's Granson, bounty hunter by trade, mostly Sanitas. When I first laid eyes on you, I had a feeling you were a tough bastard. The sort that must get mistaken for the warrior of darkness folks have been talking about recently. That right? Easy, killer. I couldn't care less who you are or what you've done. The only thing I'm looking for these days is a like-minded partner. Someone willing to join me in the hunt for the biggest prize this side of Northrend. Let's hear the details first. Thought that grab your attention. Dykaiosyne the fiend I'm after. One of the so-called Cardinal Virtues, as folks I want to call them. Former warrior of light, the esteemed heroes who saved the realm a century ago. The old Bren was one of them, I'm told. Stop me if you've heard all this before. Anyway, like his comrades, Brenton died in the process, only to return relatively recently as a Sin Eater. The better to torment the few who survived their mercy. Needless to say, I aim to put an end to all that. You've heard the pitch, so what's the answer? You interested in hunting Dykaiosyne with me? I am. Not a whit of hesitation. I like you, sinner. Nevertheless, I'll need you to humor me and prove you are the dab hand I think you are. For my sake as well as yours. I've heard reports of stray eaters drifting close to the Crystarium. Come with me and put my mind at ease. Considering this is a partnership, this makes a lot of sense, actually. There you are. Very good. The Sinidias we're after are sited west of the Ascensor's Gate, so we'll need to head through there before we begin our search. And if you happen to have any objections to killing eaters for sport, remember that many were once innocent people. You'll be doing them a favor putting them out of their misery. Sorry, but I'll be sitting this one out. Need to make sure I can rely on you in battle first, you understand? Fine, you want to die. What's after you? Just after the eater, buddy. Good. Clean work. This is clearly not your first time. Let's do this once more just to confirm it wasn't a fluke, though. Besides, the world could do with less eaters. Follow me, it shouldn't be much further. Yeah, that'll do. You're exactly the sort of woman I've been looking for, and thank the gods for that. My apologies for subjecting you to such a silly test, but I'd rather not have an amateur's death on my conscience. Let's head back to the wandering stairs and make this official, shall we? So, just to make sure you're still keen on our arrangement, Savannah, will you join with me and hunt the dread fiend Dykaiosyne and put an end to his accursed existence? Of course. Excellent, then it's settled. Now, every hunt begins with an investigation, and ours is no exception. Dykaiosyne can be a rather difficult eater to pin down, but before we commence ours, we would do well to attend to our respective preparations. Let me know when you're ready to proceed. For the sake of the episode, right now. All set to embark on our great hunt, Serenium? Then let's be about it. Before you ask, I have no intention of leading us out into the wilds without even an inkling of the Dykaiosyne's whereabouts. Northwood may not be particularly large, even before the flood, but it'd take us a dozen lifetimes to score every nook and cranny. So we start by asking around a place I know for a fact Dykaiosyne has attacked before. The village of Wright on Colusia. While I don't have reason to believe he will return, I'd like to think that the survivors might know something of value. After all, you can be sure they haven't forgotten the day the bastard came through. So let us be off then. Welcome to Wright. I reckon it might not seem like much to you, but to me... Never mind. We'll save that conversation for after. Tracking down Dykaiosyne is what matters right now. Let's split up and ask after the bastard. Better odds of turning up useful information that way, I'd wager. And here's a question mark. What? What do you want with me? I'm looking for the Sin Eater, the one that came and killed everyone. Oh God, is he here? Why are you talking about him? Oh, I knew I should have stayed inside. There's nothing but death out here. Death and horror and eaters and... Where did you come from? What do you want with me? I'm looking for Dykaiosyne. Dykaiosyne, that fry-stamped eater, that the splitting image of Granson Knight. That Dykaiosyne? Yep. Can't help you. All I know is that when he came, Wicked White, if you have seen the carnage, you would... Sorry, I can't talk about this. Okay, no information here. People are still too traumatized by him. Well, learn anything of worth sharing? No. I wish I could say I'm surprised, but I'm not. And what we saw that day, what he did to us, there's no moving on from that. What exactly happened here? Well, I was planning to tell you the whole story eventually, but I suppose now is as good a time as any. I was born and raised in Wright. Lacking any real prospects, I eked out a living as a hunter. Might have tried my hand at something more exciting had I not also been trying to provide for the love of my life. Melinda. It was about a year ago when she accepted a commission from this Yamoran trader. Bloke dealt mostly in antiques, and he had this bracelet in need of restoration. Bloody old with a questionable provenance. But supposedly it once belonged to royalty or some such. The Fangs of Ortus, he called it. Me and her had been talking about tying the proverbial knot. Buying land, building a home, that sort of thing. Around here that might not take much, but it was still a lot more than we had, so when the trader made his offer, she didn't hesitate to say yes. I'd gone down to the shipyard to pick up extra tools and materials she needed for the work. Quality stuff, but it'd pay for itself 10 times over. But when I got back to Wright, Dykaiosyne had been busy. I spied at least a dozen newborn eaters fluttering about, trying to make sense of her new lot. The grandmother who lived next door and shared the fruits of her orchard with us. The woodsman who brought firewood to our doorstep in the dead of winter. Both of them reduced to mindless fiends, just like that. There wasn't time to mourn or to think. I started looking for Melinda. And then where she was, alive and well. Our eyes met and we knew it was going to be alright. We went for each other, and even now, a year later, it doesn't feel real. One moment she was there, right there in front of me, and the next she was... Dykaiosyne knelt and took the Fangs of Ortus, and then left, leading a host of sin-eaters out of Wright. But Melinda, I still couldn't see her as anything else. She wouldn't budge. She just hovered there and stared, waiting for me to end it. But I could never say no to her, not once in the years we'd been together. For all the times she'd welcomed me home with a bowl of hot stew, all the times she laughed at my crude jokes and gave me counsel when I was losing my way. For all that and more, I killed her. I swore then and there I'd have my vengeance. Dykaiosyne would die by my hand. I carved the scars in my flesh to mirror the ones he had left in my soul, an enduring reminder of a vow that I never dare stray from the path. There, all done. No need to wallow in it. Wouldn't want my tragic yet tried tale to put you off our hunt. Still with me to the end, sinner? That's the spirit. Still, I have some unfinished business here, so if you could give me a moment before we resume, I would be most grateful. Sorry to have kept you waiting, Sinner. I'm sure you're eager to get back to it, as am I. Trouble is, in your absence, I failed to turn up any information on the whereabouts of Dykaiosyne. There's one line of inquiry I've yet to pursue, though. The Fangs of Ortus, the bracelet my beloved was supposed to restore and that the Eater took with him when he left Wright. Sin-Eaters are mindless fiends driven only by base instinct. Everyone knows that. They have no need for worldly possessions. Yet Dykaiosyne took the bracelet anyway, which can only mean that there is something unique about this particular antique, or the sinless bastard somehow different from the rest of his ilk. Either way, I think we need to learn more about the Fangs of Ortus, and I know just the man to ask. The Umoran trader who commissioned Melinda's services. Much as I'd like to question myself, though, I don't think that's an option. Even though Dykaiosyne's attack a year ago is common knowledge, I doubt the trader will believe that an Eater stole his precious trinket. He's more likely to accuse me of theft and have me clapped in irons. So I'm afraid you have to go in my stead, Serenia. Melinda said he was a regular at the beehive, so try looking for him there first. I hope I can get in there. Technically, the Shai said I could enter this place. But if I manage to do it, I don't know. It doesn't make much lore sense that I should be able to enter Yulmore. Okay, I indeed could just walk in here. So, where's the trader I'm looking for? There. Hmm? And to what do I owe pleasure that is your company? The Fangs of Authors, you say? How very interesting. I should be glad to tell you everything that I know, under the assumption that should you recover it, you will see it return to its rightful owner at once. I purchased a bracelet from a traveling peddler who claimed it was a relic of Verbert, that glorious king that fell with a flood like so many others. He spoke true from what I could tell, and I intended to sell it to a collector here for a tidy profit, after having it properly restored by an artisan in right. Alas, she was one of several casualties of a sin-eater attack, during which the Fangs of Authors mysteriously vanished. I have of course been keeping in touch with several contacts on the off chance that the thief might attempt to sell it. I have not, regrettably, but a piece of similar design did recently surface in Mortsuk, I'm told. I was planning to dispatch an agent to investigate, but you seem more than capable of fulfilling that role. As for incentive, you may be assured that any information that aids me in the acquisition of a Fangs of Office or similar relics will be well rewarded. And back to right. So, what did our industrious patron have to say? So he thinks it was stolen, huh? Just as well. We probably not know where to head next if it wasn't for his distrusting nature. If this piece of similar design is related to the Fangs of Office, then it might attract Dykaiosyne's attention, assuming it hasn't already. Let's go. Fine weather we're having today in Mortsuk, isn't it? No such thing as a thing without value. That's the creed of these folks. We find no shortage of verbatite trinkets here. Finding the right one, on the other hand, is a challenge. I say divide and conquer as before. Well met. How may I be of service to you? I'm looking for verbatite bracelets. Oh, a choker that once belonged to verbatite royalty, you say? If only I had such a remarkable treasure in my possession, but no, I do not. In all my years here, I have never even heard of someone unearthing such a thing. Yes, do you have business with me, traveler? A verbatite choker? Is that all this fuss is about? Then you're in luck, for my husband is yet to sell it. Once we realized how valuable it was, well, he insisted on carrying it with him at all times. If you're willing to wait for him to return, you could try to find him at the ruins where he's scavenging for relics. They're not far. I hope he isn't hunted down by that sin-eater. What news, friend? Scavenger. Ha! To think that was that easy, you have the luck of a fae. But we need to hurry. If my fear is correct, then so long as that scavenger has the choker, he's a target for Dykaiosyne. Mercy! Mercy! Take whatever you want, but please, don't kill me. I have a family. Please, I beg of you. Please. Shame you missed the fun. This one's bit of more than you could chew. Probably because it was a newborn. You can tell by the lingering vestiges of intelligence itself. You can see it in their eyes. Like when Dykaiosyne... Don't tell me. You saw him? Wicked White, and he took the choker too? Damn it. Damn it all. He can't keep getting away with it. He can't keep getting away with it. Just like White was too late to save him. Just like I was too late to save her. But not again. Never again. I'll hunt you to the end of the world, Dykaiosyne. Vengeance will be mine. Right, yes. Neither a time nor a place. More eaters could be about. Just every time I cut one down, it reminds me of my first. Of her. We may have failed to stop him this time, but what matters is that we both live to see another day. Pity the scavenger didn't, and the wife doesn't yet know she's become a widow. Sod it, I tell you what happened. I've been there, so maybe it'll help me to find the right words. Not that there ever are any. Afterwards, I have a good think about our next step. Don't let me keep you from your other affairs, Serenia. We'll speak again soon. Okay, and I think I end the episode here, and we continue here right next time. Until then, I'm Mace, and don't get lost.